Hey guys, Keep 'em Kicking and today we're talking about cleaning your air still. If you've had one of these bad boys, you will need to clean it at some stage, either for two reasons. Either you've got copper in here, in which case, if you are using copper, for instance, we've got a copper SPP packing. I'm not sure if it's on the website yet, but it's certainly, if it's not on already, it's going to be on the website fairly soon. The other thing you want to clean out of the still is really mainly the fusel oils. So fusel oils are the types of oils, especially when you're getting into the end of the distillation process. So if you've set on the controller quite a high cutoff temperature before the boiler turns off, then you'll inevitably get some fusel oils come over, and they're quite stinky. You'll know a couple times after you've distilled, you'll smell the column, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and those oils really need to be cleaned with something like detergent. So really these two processes are quite different. If you're using copper, really what you need to do is do some type of acid wash. And if you're using, trying to get rid of fusel oils, you really need to use some type of detergent. Now, copper is controversial. I have heard of some people, saying, oh, you've got to have copper in a still because it's the only way you can produce really good quality spirit. But quite frankly, that's not what I believe. Copper has a benefit that it can help release sulfides from the spirit itself. But ultimately, if you've done a really good job of your fermentation and haven't put the yeast under too much stress, and you've got the right chemistry and yeast nutrient, then you're not going to have that much sulfur in the distillate in the first place, in which case there's not a lot of need for copper to release that. Now, copper is an aftermarket addition. If you have an air still straight out of the box, we have stainless steel packing. The components in here are stainless steel. Look, the products that the spirit comes in contact with, be it some santoprene and some PP as well, and some silicon components. But generally, there's no copper in the still body as it comes and is sold out of the box. Now, one of the caveats with using copper, you're probably thinking, well, there's no downside, right? I just release sulfides and it'll make my spirit better. The problem is copper has a downside in the sense that it eventually dissolves once you acid wash it. And really to get the most effectiveness out of your copper, you should acid wash it every time to remove some of the oxide layer that's on the outside of the copper. And the second caveat is copper can have a negative effect in the sense that when your distillate comes in contact with the copper, it can form ethyl carbonate, which is a carcinogenic compound. So you've got negatives associated with copper too. So if my gut feeling is, look, to have a still which you can completely wash with any cleaning product, don't have to worry about the packing breaking down and falling apart over some time, and then putting some effort into making sure you've got a really good fermentation process and good fermentation controls, you should never really need copper. It's nice to have a bit on the shelf just in that emergency you didn't do a great job of your fermentation, but it's not absolutely necessary. Now, when you're cleaning the still out, the main part of the still here we're cleaning out is this this column here. So whether it's being used for reflux or for pot distillation, the vapors and spirit will come in contact with pretty much the whole column. One of these is sitting internally in here, and it's got a cap at the base which you can remove, and you can see all the way through like so, and you can take all the packing out, and that's another way to sort of thoroughly clean it, which I'm going to show you later on too. But I'm going to give you some secrets here to cleaning. With the actual cleaning solution, as I said before, if I've got copper, I'd probably use something like citric acid, phosphoric acid, or even, look, pretty much most of the acids will take off an oxide layer off copper. Even vinegar would be not too bad. And then for cleaning the fusel oils, look, I think one of our products we sell a lot is the PBW. That's quite a good job, does quite a good job. I'd probably avoid using the foaming sanitizers, and there's not really a reason to sanitize the still itself. It's not a, you're not fermenting in here, so this is all hot side, so you're not really going to have an issue with, bacteria and stuff like that growing in your still. But another good product that you can use to remove fusel oils is something like detergent. So just like normal household cleaning detergent does quite a good job at removing fusel oils. Now, when you first get it, we've pacified all the stainless steel. So one argument would be to say, well, I like to use some acid like citric acid or phosphoric acid because it helps pacify the stainless steel and keep it in top notch. So you can certainly do that. But look, it's kind of like, it certainly will keep this stainless steel very shiny and makes it look really great. But ultimately, it's not really necessary to do an acid wash unless you're, got copper packed in the column. So for the cleaning process, I reckon it's easy just to get a big jug like this and then fill it with some soapy water. And then what you want to do is, I actually love using this product. This makes the cleaning job super easy. So this is our 1 litre rechargeable power sprayer. I've actually got multiple of these around the house. I actually use them for sanitizing. I've got phosphoric acid one. I've got garden spray, so I put neem oil on my plants with one of these. And obviously now I use this one for my cleaning of the air still. This has obviously been modified already with the ball lock disconnect on the end. So what I'm going to do is fill this up with some soapy warm water, because that is going to help me remove those fusel oils. Soap and oils obviously are a really great combination for cleaning, because soap is very effective at cleaning oils, as you'd probably know. And fusel oils just have a stench about them. If you have any fusel oils in the still, that will migrate into your next spirit on the next run. So it's worth your time to do this fairly short, quick process to make sure you're producing the best quality spirit you can. So I've got an 8mm push-in fitting on this ball lock disconnect. That just goes directly onto the power sprayer like so. Now there's a couple reasons why I like the power sprayer. Firstly, it's really convenient, battery powered and all that. But the second reason is because the pump itself is not so powerful that it can blow the hose off internally in the unit. So it's really important, because we've got a whole lot of hose joints in the still head. If you put in too much pressure, so for instance, if I was to use a large, external pump, I could basically put too much pressure into the head, and that could basically blow one of the hoses off. So I'm going to get this here, and I'm going to pull this still head off and show you on the underside. So I've got like 2 little holes on the underside of the still head here. We've got one here. This is where the vapor enters. So vapor comes in this hole, goes around the condenser, and then goes into the column. And then we've got another little secondary hole here. And this one is where the liquid distillate is pumped back into the boiler. So if you're refluxing, for instance, and you've got that spirit which is condensing, getting all the way down to the bottom of the column, then the pump will periodically cycle on and pump it out in through this hole, so it returns back to the boiler. Now, what I do is get the vapor hole, so the larger of the 2 holes, and this 8mm OD beer line fits perfectly kind of in that hole right there. So I'm going to push that in like so, like this, like that. And it doesn't need to be like a mega watertight fit or anything. You could probably get a different hose, but look, our ever barrier tubing works really well for this. Then just put it back on the boiler like this. And what I can do is, in a moment, I can turn that pump on or start pumping my soapy water through the unit. Now, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna get a pot here. Now this pot is, I think, about 2 litres in size. Ideally, you want something which is somewhere around about the volume of this. So I can basically turn this on, gonna have the whole lot of that liquid end up in that if I really need to, and it's not gonna overflow the output. The other thing I've got is basically this already in place. I've got the column already packed. So I've got all my packing in there. I can actually remove this little guy, put it in there. I can even use the cap, put it in that pot. I can take out the nozzles. So I've got this nozzle here. I've got these 2 other nozzles in the storage in the air still head like that. And now I'm pretty much all ready to go. Now, one thing I'm going to quickly show you is when this liquid pumps in here, it goes into that head, comes through here, and then comes down into the column, right? So it's going to fill up this column, cover all of the packing with that soapy water solution. And then it's going to basically overflow and come out this output here. What I also want to do is I want to put my finger periodically in the output, and that'll force the cleaning solution to fill up inside. There's a little holder in here, and there's a little overflow hole which goes from the top of this little cavity in here, and it actually can come out this little hole right here. So I'm not sure if any of you guys have noticed this with the air still, but it's got a very small overflow hole right there. So that happens, the reason why we've got that there is just in case this cavity in here gets too high spirit. Let's say you've got a blockage on the output, you're not going to get spirit leak internally in the casing of the unit where all electronics are. It's going to leak externally and just come down here. So I'm going to show you how that works in just a second here and why that's important. But let's get the cleaning process started. So I'm going to turn this on. So the pump's now pumping through there. It'll just be starting to fill that up. It's starting to overflow already. It's starting to fill up this the 4 shots collector. And you can see it's coming out the output here. So I'm going to let maybe I don't know, maybe a third of the liquid inside this power sprayer run through. So that's getting kind of close-ish. And I'm getting all that soapy water on these fittings, the nozzles, the gin basket. And when I'm done, I'm gonna smell all these, make sure they've got no aroma, no fusel oils. Okay, so I'm about like a third through. Then I'm gonna put my finger on the output here, and you can see what's happening is that's forcing the spirit to basically overflow and fill up this cavity in here. And then it's gonna come out this overflow here. You'll see it in a second. Oh, there we go. And it's dripping out here. I'm gonna take my finger off, and then it's gonna then come back here into the pot. I'm gonna do that maybe a couple of times, go out the overflow. There we go, boom, coming out that way, open it up. And I can also hear a bit of tinkling in the boiler, and that's because I'm also getting some of that cleaning liquid go from the bottom where the pump is and then come up into the boiler. And because the packing is in the column, it's cleaning some of the packing in the column at the same time. Now, it's a really easy process with the power sprayer, so that would be my recommended method. However, if you don't have a power sprayer or can't get one or can't afford one or something like that, then what I'll do is just take the still head off like this, turn it upside down, and I would pour some water into this bowl here, and that will mean some of the water or soapy water will go into this hole. So that same vapor hole I was talking about before, the liquid will flow in there and it'll get in that coil. Then you can tip it upside down to tip it back out of there and repeat this process a couple of times. Then the second thing you'll have to do is then wash the column, which means you'll then get a jug of the soapy water, pour it in here, rinse it around a bit, then pour it back out and repeat that process. Now, when you're pouring it in here, some will also go down into that little catchment in here through the 4 shots collector and also come out the output. So that'll also get the job done. So either way, it's up to you. Now, just remember, irrespective of which method you use, you will then have to rinse all of that soap out of there with just standard warm water. Now, if your packing is particularly bad and you've got a lot of fusel oils and other stuff on it, then sometimes it might be worth taking the packing out of the column. Luckily, on the Polyphoenix Air Still, this is a really easy process because we've got a bung on the underside, which you can just undo this and then dump all the packing into something like a spaghetti colander or something like that. I find works pretty well. Now, to show this, what I sometimes do when I'm at home, I actually just put it on the edge of the bench like that. That way I can get to the underside where the bung is easily. But because in the studio I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, I've got this bucket here. So I'm going to get this fairly tall bucket like that. And I'm going to basically put this up on the edge of the bucket, meaning I can show you guys the underside of this. So what I do is get a spaghetti colander like that. And this bung I'm just going to undo like this and empty out all the packing. Now, sometimes if the packing's been sitting there a little while or you've got some caked up stuff on the packing, it doesn't always flow out of the still like it has. I mean, it could come out really nice because my packing's quite clean. But if it needs a little bit more encouragement, you can give it a little bit of a shake or a tap. Oh, there's a few more bits in there. Or otherwise you can get something like a chopstick, or I've got a screwdriver here, for instance, and just make sure it all kind of falls down. And whoop, there you go. And even the screwdriver's fallen all the way through the hole too. So yeah, so now I've got all the packing out of there. So you want to make sure this is really clean so I can actually stick all of this packing or even the whole colander. If you've got a fairly high-sided colander, it's not going to tip over, you can actually put the whole colander in your dishwasher at home. Another possibility is you can get a mesh bag, like for instance our grain bags that we sell on the website. You could use a grain bag and stick it all in a grain bag and then wash it in soapy water in the dishwasher. Or you could just wash it in the sink, you know, just by hand. I mean, either option, it's fairly straightforward. As long as it comes out and you smell it and there's no, you know, nasty smells of fusel oils and stuff like that, you know, you're good to go. Now, when you're putting the packing back in the column, obviously remove this cap, then remove the gin basket like so. I keep my packing in a plastic bag like this. It's like just a clip lock bag. It's best to store it dry, especially if it's getting stored for a while. That way you don't get mold and stuff grow on the packing. Then if you want to fill it up, you could use a funnel, but look, I get generally pretty good success just going like this and just going straight into the top of the column like that. Now, once you've poured it in there, you want to make sure that that packing is not sitting on the ledge there. Otherwise, you'll find that this will not go all the way down. See, this gin basket should be flush with the top of the still column here, and it's not at the moment. So if you have a look in here, you can see we've got some of those bits of packing just sitting on the ledge there. So look, I've got just a little screwdriver, and I'm just going to fish them off the side here like that. It only takes a few seconds, and make sure they go all the way down the hole like so. I think that's it. Sorry, it's a bit hard to do while I'm actually looking at the phone screen. Feel a bit unco doing this. Okay, there we go. I think that's, oh, one or two more. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's it. So they're all off that little ledge there. And as you'll see now, the gin basket is flush with the top, or slightly countersunk from the top of that edge of the still. Now, one other thing I'll also sort of, just let you be aware of is one instance I did this. I overfilled the top with packing accidentally right up to this top brim, and it made the packing kind of flow sideways. And I got a very small piece of SPP stuck in this hole here. Well, not really stuck. It just sort of went into that side hole there. So this little hole right there that you can see. So that one right there. So when that happens, if you get SPP stuck in there, the air cooling line in here, so you can see this, this sort of one with the fins on it, the air cooling line in there. If that basically gets anything stuck in that tube, you really reduce the ease of which the vapor can come up, condense, and the vapor goes into this part of the top of the column. Now, if that happens, you definitely don't get as efficient heat exchange because the vapor can't flow easily and without restriction into the column. So it is important, when you fill it up, if you accidentally fill it too high, make sure to just check that hole and no packing has gone in that hole. Now, luckily the size of the packing is generally too big to go in that hole, but I just had one just sort of wedged just in the hole opening, and I noticed my efficiencies on the coil had dropped slightly. So it's a pretty rare instance, but just thought I'd just tell you about it anyway. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoy using the Polyphoenix Air Still. This is a real badass bit of kit. I've been using it for all sorts of stuff at home, not just spirits. I actually did like a steam extraction of lemongrass and stuff like that for cooking applications as well. But I think it's a really cool bit of kit, and maintaining it and cleaning it like this is a relatively simple process once you get the hang of it. Anyway, definitely hit subscribe now, bottom right-hand corner, and click the notification bell so you get notified when new videos land. The other thing you can do is join our Facebook homebrew community group where guys just like yourself are sharing tips and tricks on how to get the most out of all our gear. Anyway, that's it. See you next time. Bye.